Hey, welcome to my podcast, Real Talk with Lyza. This is a podcast that keeps it real. None of the interviews have been edited, guests have no knowledge of questions beforehand, and everything is 100 recorded as is. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is Real Talk with your host, Lyza. All right, welcome to my podcast, Real Talk with Lyza. I'm so excited about this episode. I'm especially excited about our guests. And so this episode is going to be about Tongan dance classes. And I have two talented, amazing guests here, and I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. So if you guys can introduce yourselves with your name, profession if you'd like, and a hobby that you love or one that you want to start. I'll let Ricky go first.
Thanks, Lyza, for having us. I think for the sake of the audience, Tongan formalities, probably uvang ay Faiva Fakatonga Faiva Fakatonga kaya ata mo matigan ma for the Mapatongi. So, but thank you, Lyza, for giving us a chance to join you on your podcast. My name is Alamoti Ricky I've been here in Salt Lake for since 2016. I married 3 boys under the age of 5. I now work at a software company in South Jordan called Lucid Software. Hobbies, I have fallen deep into the pickleball community, and it consumes a lot of my evenings, maybe some mornings as well.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know you have 3 boys now. I think the last time I saw you guys had 2, so you guys are definitely raising sons, right? I think you're trying to start a pickleball team. Is that
Yes.
what you
So I can draft my own Major League Pickleball team now.
Yeah.
We are also expecting a 4th on July 4th.
Oh my gosh, is it a boy?
Hoping for a girl.
Oh,
open to having another boy.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Okay, next guest.
Nice. Thank you for this opportunity. First to Lyza and as well as to my brother Ricky for the introduction. My name is Alamoti Lavaki. I was born and raised in Provo. Currently, I'm working on our children's unit on pediatrics at the Utah State Hospital on our night shift crew. My hobbies that I like is I love to travel. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I travel last minute and my family's like, oh, where are you going? And I just like already at the destination. They're like, you didn't even tell us. And I'm just like, yeah, it was one of those opportunities. It just came up and I took it. And so that's my hobby. Lately, the past couple years, just traveling every chance that I can get.
And I love seeing your posts and your videos. I'm one of those people that are like, where are you? so yes, I think it's better to travel that way, Moti, because then you don't have to worry about everybody jumping on last minute. Right? But
yeah.
but thank you guys both for being here. So to kind of jump into the conversation, you two are starting a dance academy, and it's not just any dance academy. It's like a specific one that I'm really excited for because I think it benefits not only our community, but it's going to be specific towards like the Tongan community too. And so I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to ask you a series of questions about that and about yourselves. But just to kind of start off with, I'll probably have Moti answer this first question and then I'll have Ricky answer my next one after. But what is the name of your dance academy? And what city is it going to be in? And what will you be teaching?
Awesome. Well, the name of our dance academy is called siipekaehadanceacademy Faiva Fakatonga Dance Academy. It is located here in Provo, Utah. And that's the name and location.
Awesome. And it's open to, I mean, I assume you're going to have people, anybody can come to it if they're willing to make the travel, right?
Yes, ma'am. Everyone is welcomed.
Awesome. Ricky, what made you guys want to start this? And like, why focus on the Tongan community specifically?
We had already been doing this for a number of years. I think me and Moti specifically partnered up in 2016. As soon as I got into BYU, I was asked to help with the Luau program. So, and I asked around the community, and they said, "Oh, reach out to this guy in the community that's really good at setting up and putting all these the Tongan dances together, is Alamoti." So I reached out to Moti, and since then we have been already helping out several, for church functions, for family functions, even like a work function for men. Moti mentioned that he works at the pediatric, facility. We ended up teaching them a little, item for some of their Christmas programs and stuff like that. So we've been doing this, but the most recent program, we kind of looked at each other because we had, bought a whole bunch of costumes and stuff for the kids, and we saw how happy the kids were from performing. So we're like, what are we gonna do with all these costumes? So we kind of, Monty's been asked several, for years now to start this. So, but that was kind of maybe the last hay. Me kind of pushing Monty, just like, hey, you should do it. Like everyone's been asking. We have all this stuff, we have the costumes, we have the resources, we have, Monty has awesome support from family and even connections that create all this stuff. But I think Monty's been one of the most passionate people in doing this and doing it the right way. And we wanted to focus on the Tongan side because first, I think that's where most of our credibility is within the Tongan community. The Tongan dances that we've taught have all been Tongan. I mean, all the items that we've taught have all been Tongan. But siipekaehadanceacademy is very telling of even us as Tongans, like we're a little period on the map, but we've, on the global map, but we've made such an impact in everyone in their own different ways. So I was all on board supporting Monty's initiatives. So.
That's awesome. I know you both are super talented. I've worked with both of you on, like, Ricky with the youth at one time, and Moti, I've worked with you a lot. And I think it's so great that you guys are doing this, especially, I don't feel like there's the strong presence for the Tongan community, even though we have a lot of people in where we're at. But I think it's amazing that you guys are doing this. So I have a question, and any of you guys can answer it. Do you feel like the Tongan community is losing culture?
I do. Only for the fact because I've seen other places. For example, I really look up to New Zealand, how they pass it on to their youth. They've just done such a great job at doing that and being able to witness and seeing them hold strong to our cultural dances and other things Tongan back in New Zealand made me think we have to do the same thing or it will be completely lost. And so that's been one of my motivations, seeing that it can be done. I know I hear some in our community say, oh, whatever the reason is, we can't do it here. We can't, whatever, they say about that. But I totally disagree. I know we can hold on to that. Also with the Mana Academy, seeing what they accomplished with the kids up north, it's just great to see. And so I want to pass on the things that we know to our children and upcoming generations here locally, so they can still keep their identity and know their roots and have that opportunity to do so. So
yeah, I agree. I love that you said that because it's true. I've seen the same with New Zealand. I mean, they have like their Tongan language week. They have they celebrate everything. I've even seen online classes where you can come and like learn how to make a lot of stuff too. So I'm glad you pointed that out. And I do think, Moti, that you do follow that. Anything that you've touched, you've really put, I mean, you could do things really easy, right? If you really wanted to, you could just like, oh, let's just throw this together and call it a day. But you really do put a lot of time to make sure that it's authentic, that it matches culture and tradition. So that's awesome. And I also believe with the Tongan community, whether they're losing it on purpose, right, or not, I think it's getting lost, especially with, the first generation that comes. It's easy to lose it right after that, second, third, fourth. And so that's why I think that the academy that you guys are putting together is going to revive that, bring back the culture and allow them to reconnect with it. Did you have anything you want to add to that, Ricky?
I think, in short, to your question, if we're losing the culture, I would agree with what Moti said. Part of the passion behind this is to, like you said, revive, but also I think notice the change. Having grown up in Tonga, like for instance, the Whaikapa ceremony there's an evolution in it, right? And I think there's a lot of discussion around Polynesians and mental health, especially men, Polynesian men and mental health. Spoke to Professor Kavika from BYU. He had shared in a presentation just how the way Western society treats mental health doesn't really align with the way we have, kind of dealt with mental health in our cultures growing up, right?
Yeah.
And I made the connection on like the Whaikapa. It was like growing up, it was always kind of like a sacred function, a ceremony where a lot of our cultures passed down like orally, right? Like there's stories told, young ones come in, the young, married men will ask questions to the older generation and they can share some of that knowledge. But I feel like it's evolved to a point now where Whaikapa is almost like a bragging circle of, people just one-upping stories one to another. There's no real like sense of vulnerability where people can kind of like ask, deep questions to the elders, right? Like it's evolved in a way that's very surface level association or socializing. It's not as sacred as I saw it to be as a kid growing up in the islands. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I've seen lots of others, like family members from different states or communities. They've had to reteach that, and kind of like you're saying, they like I saw them teach the kava ceremony to some of the youth.
Yeah.
Which is good, right? Because it helps them understand a little bit more of, I guess, the sacredness of it, and what it's really about. So I think this question really relates to what you guys are trying to do with the academy, is to help save that community. And I think when they come and learn dances, my kids have grown up dancing like their whole life. One thing I've learned is when they come to learn dances, it's not just about the dances. You're learning about like the community, the culture. There's like a culture in it. So I do know that if anyone, like when people come to your guys' academy, they're not just going to be learning a dance. Like they're going to be learning the culture of the dance and being around the community of the people. And I think that's important for people to know, that they're getting more out of it than just the dancing. Their kids are going to grow so much. So let's get to know you guys a little bit better. When you think of Tonga, where is home to you? Which place do you call home, or which village or which island? What do you think of when you think of Tonga?
Me, home in Tonga is Ewa. That's where I first went to on my very first trip to Tonga. And that was after I graduated from high school, that was my maternal grandfather's graduation gift to me, was to take me back to see where my mom and them grew up at. So that's my mom's side. And in the village of Mu'a, in Ewa is where home is. So that's
your place.
Yeah, that's my place.
That's your home. That's awesome. No, I love that. I was excited for this question because I wanted to know where you. I mean, there's so many places we can call home in Tonga, but I just want to know, like, where do you call home? So, Ricky, where's your home?
I think there's a correct answer, and then there's a truth.
Who cares
So,
about which?
hey,
No, just kidding.
just for the sake that my wife will see this at some point, I was the correct answer is that home is where my family is, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
I
yes.
think to a sense it is that, but home for me is Komatua, Tongatapu. My mom is from Pea and Pangay Hapai, but my dad is from New Tapu and Komatua. But all of my youth finished high school from Tonghai in 2016 and have kind of traveled around for schooling, made my way to Hawaii after serving a mission, and from Hawaii here. So I've lived in almost 5 different countries. So the sense of home is always Tonga for me, just because I've had a chance to call a lot of places home, but it's always back to Tonga.
That's good. That's good. I love the places that you guys chose. When I think of home in Tonga, I think of Maufanga and Kolomotua. My dad's from Kolomotua, my mom's from Maufanga. And so I think if I'm pretty sure you both are feeling the same thing. Like even just saying that kind of makes me emotional. Just kind of even just saying the village name, because so many memories are like just rushing through my mind right now.
Yeah.
And I think when you think of home, you connect it, especially for the Tongan people, you connect it to your parents. It's fully connected to your parents or your grandparents. So I love that question. And I don't know if there's a lot of people like outside of like the Polynesian community, but especially Tongan community, that can really understand like when we think of our village, like it like really pierces our heart. Like you really think of like, you can't help but think of grandparents, aunts and uncles, parents and all that. So that's awesome. So when you think of Tonga, what are the first 3 things that come to your mind? It could be anything. I'm just when I say the word Tonga, like what comes to your mind? The first 3 things. We'll have Ricky and then Moti.
I'll say family, food, and rugby.
Okay, I love that. Okay, you just hit it on the dot. Yeah, like that's right. Okay, what about you, Moti?
Yeah, I have to agree with Ricky.
Right?
Family, food, and when I went, it was dances. Like it was Christmas time, and they had like dances like Monday to Saturday. I don't know. It was that was my first experience, and that's my 3.
I that's fun. I like all the ones you both are talking about. When I think about it, I think of family and food and trouble. I got a lot of trouble out there.
That's your Mafanga side, not the.
I mean, I did get in trouble there the most. So, but I think it's because I wasn't born there, but when we go there, I think when you're like experimenting, looking around. I just wandered. Like I just would end up, I could literally walk down the street and everywhere I passed, a house would be like, come eat. It was always a family member I learned about during the whole time, but yeah, I got a lot of trouble over there, but good trouble. It wasn't bad trouble. Okay, so let me ask you guys, what is your experience with teaching dance? I know you mentioned a little bit at the beginning, but maybe give me an idea of like years, like how many years do you think you've been doing that? And like, what are the specific dances you've probably been teaching? I know you've taught a lot, especially when we talk about Polynesian in general, but just if we're just talking about the Tongan part.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Thank you. For me, it started when I actually first started teaching was in the late 90s, I want to say. I always grew up, growing up in a Tongan ward, they're always having some kind of performance for whatever it is, ward conference, state conference, whatever ward function that's going on. I'd always be participating. And then it got to a point where at Aqua Faivas, I was just, picking up things. And then we had, they'd ask us, oh, can you guys come up with something? And I'd have to come up with motions. And my mom was a big influence. She was the one who I learned mostly everything that I still do today was from her. And so the dances that I teach mostly are Taolunga, Maululu, and some Lakalaka, the female motions. So that's what I've been doing for the years. And since late 90s to now, that's pretty much what I've done throughout the years. And yeah, I guess that's
Awesome. And you're
where my
really good at it, Moti. Especially, I've always thought it was amazing how you can take a whole group and do it. Like, I get the individual, right? If you're teaching an individual, if you're doing one-on-one, I get the time spent to learn that. But it's always been amazing to me when I see like the whole group come together from your teaching. So I love the way that you've been teaching in all those dances. What about you, Ricky?
I really started teaching 2015. But I guess to get to teaching, I had to start learning. And I think for some of your viewers, they were maybe familiar with the name Afu Tamwe Piao. He was a state president for me back in Tonga, but he also taught at the Tongan National Center, which is kind of like a museum. But as a kid, that's where mom would drop me off to go learn, how to properly, dance Tongan and do all that kind of stuff. Went away from it, took the sports route, but started picking up the dancing again, really, fine tuning certain movements and learning about the stories behind certain motions from another mentor in the community in Hawaii called Fasitovo. So picked up and learned a lot from him, and then started teaching at the PCC. Just sections of the night show, helping mentoring some of the new students that would come in from different islands to learn, Tongan dancing at the Polynesian Cultural Center. But that was always, I don't know, I guess the feeling behind out of all of those have always felt like a duty, it was more of my cultural duty to learn and teach those things. Until I started teaching in Moti's What had a 30th anniversary, 5 years ago, where I really got to work with even younger kids, beyond like younger than me, and then working with the older generation. That was like a new new dynamic for me. Like, I'm not just teaching guys my age the dancing, and the way that I had to communicate changed. But so it went from duty to almost a sense of love and responsibility. So there's more compassion behind the teaching now, because I can see the confidence in the kids, as they go each and every time to the practice, because they're, I think, an understanding of their culture, like a little bit of knowing that they Tongan dance, that they're dancing an item from their culture. You can see like the confidence starting to come out in other areas of their conversation and just the way they handle themselves. But yeah, sorry, that was a long answer, but I added a whole bunch of context to that. But yeah, it went from teaching as a duty to like a passion, something that I really love, because I love seeing the kids change and love to see them progress, not just dancing, but Mother will agree, like, we're not just doing this just to learn items, or learn. While it is good to have in the back pocket when you're voluntold by your faho to stand up and dance at a wedding or something, it's good to have something that you can stand up and say, okay, play this track, I know an item. But more so than that, just a greater sense of identity themselves. So
Yeah, no, I like that you said that, because it means a lot when there is passion behind it, like when there is love. And I think it's okay to first have it start off as trying to do a duty. That's fine, because it helps build your understanding. But for it to move into a place where both of you are, where you found it to also be like a love and a passion to do it, I think that's great. And I can agree with you, because so my kids are all taught how to dance pretty much from Moti. So when it comes to Tongan things, he's the one that's come and helped. And I can tell you, I agree with that. When you teach a child a dance from their culture, it really does build their confidence, and it makes them feel a part of it. And so I can definitely attest to that it will change the way that they feel, because I know my kids, you know, they're not scared anymore. They're not scared, you know, maybe when you're younger at first, but they're not scared anymore, because I think the love that you guys will teach and show, they'll feel it too. And when they dance, they'll know that they're dancing not just to show, but they're dancing for actual love and understanding what they're actually dancing to. I think that's the one thing that I really appreciate, is you can tell the difference between no, and it's still good that, you know, kids know how to dance, but you can tell the difference between people who are just getting up and just dancing, and ones that are actually dancing to the music, like dancing to the words, or dancing to what's actually being said. Like, not every motion is just going to be like this. Like, there's going to be so, like, it doesn't mean this stands for everything. And so I'm excited for you guys to teach, because I think they'll walk away with an understanding of what they're actually doing with their movements. And they'll appreciate it more. So the next question is, and I'll kind of let Ricky start this one, because it reminds me of a story. Basically, it's about what instruments do you guys play? And the reason I'm mentioning Ricky is because when I was in the youth, he taught our youth how to do a dance. I don't know if you remember, Ricky, but you taught the boys. And when you walked in, and we didn't have any drums, we didn't have any sticks, there was nothing, and everyone was like, how is he gonna play? There's nothing. And you found like a metal chair and some hangers, I think, on the stage or something. And then you just went at it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. Like, I didn't know you could just, I mean, I know drummers can play anywhere, but I was like, that sounds so good. And it's just hangers and a chair. You actually ended up doing that for the actual performance. Because I think the boys got used to it. But obviously you play the drums, I think. And so what instruments do you play? And then Moti, I know he's talented. What instruments do you play? So share that with us.
Yeah, the drums mainly just because it's it's needed for dancing. So, you always have to rotate in just to teach it so that other people can practice. I don't play the guitar well enough to say that I can play. It's like, the well enough to play a song, but not well enough to come up with something on the spot, or feel as someone's like playing, or lead. I don't not specialize in any of the instruments, but the other main instrument that kind of was abnormal in Tonga at the time was the piano. My mom forced me to learn the piano, so have a familiarity with hearing and finding, asking the guys on the guitar to maybe change the keys and stuff to higher, lower, just to accommodate the dance, so they don't have to over break their voices and stuff. So the piano kind of translates, but just piano on the drumming side.
So drums, piano, and guitar, but guitar,
yeah.
Don't throw you on the spot, basically, with the guitar.
Yeah, don't ask me to play if you want to look nice.
Okay. Awesome. I didn't know you play those instruments. Loti, what about you?
I play the organ and piano. I can also play a tambourine. Just kidding. But
I believe you can.
I mean, just like I want to go with what with your experience with Ricky. That happened with us too. Like I mean, that just shows how amazing and talented he is. Like, just working with what we have around at our practice. The idea came up for adding a Tongan dance to one of our numbers, and we had like sticks already, and grabbed a chair and played. And I was like, look, pro, like, that just shows how the amount of talent that he has, and just able to just improvise and work with what we have around us. But yeah, my instruments are just piano and organ.
Organ player for like all of our stake events. like you are very good at the organ. So yes. Okay, so this next question, I'm gonna ask Moti, just because I have more experience with Moti on this, but like, Moti, you pick really good music to dance to. Okay, so I that's one thing that I've really appreciated about you is, anytime I've seen, my kids dance or seen anybody else dance, the first question, where's this song from? Where, like, people are just like, how did you find this version of the song or whatever? So what is your inspiration when you're picking music for dances, and like for your academy coming up, where are you pulling those experiences from?
Oh man, good, great question. Because growing up, my mom she kind of instilled in me what she thought was malie, or like, music that she liked. I was able to inherit that same taste, I guess you could say, because we have different kinds of music, Tongan music, to dance to, and everyone has their taste of what they like to dance to. So mine was just based off from what I grew up listening to, what my mom would listen to, or a new song, for example, that would come up, and she'd be like, "Malia for ifasigo," and that song is really great. It's really nice. And she'd probably sometimes she'd say, "Oh, that'd be nice to do a taulunga to," or something like that. And I've kind of just picked up that. My taste is based off of what my mom's taste was, and so I've kind of just held on to that, and continue to use the music that I choose based off of what I grew up hearing. So,
Well,
yeah.
so grateful because your mom had amazing taste on her music. But it also what also has to be added to that is that shows that you're taking time to pick your songs, right? Like, it's not just pulling them off of what you see. Obviously, you've been trained to have a good ear from your mom on music, but I appreciate the music that you do still choose, that you take time to do it. Like, and so I think that's important, because like anybody can just, a lot of events, it's like, oh, just play any song and they'll just go out and dance to it, which I get. Sometimes that has to happen, but sometimes it doesn't have to happen if people have the right music. Like, sometimes they can actually dance to a good, maybe they don't have to pull out any song. Sometimes they can actually know the right song and to dance to. So,
So
I
true.
mean, don't you think so, Ricky? He picks really good music.
Oh, he does. My rule of thumb is like, it's not a good song if I don't naturally just start nodding my head or moving to it. Which music's a universal language, right? Like, I don't have to speak Nigerian to all of a sudden start nodding to like an Afro beat. And it's very similar with like the Tongan music. And to your point, Lyza, Moti always picks good music. And I love working with Moti. The first time I worked with Moti, and every time after that, anytime Moti reaches out, hey, certain group of boys want to learn a dance, it's always nice because Moti is always proactive, and he's like, he doesn't say it up front, but I'll ask him any ideas for songs and a dance, like, because Moti is, he's always watching and learning and seeing stuff from even New Zealand, stuff that I haven't seen before, certain numbers and stuff. So he'll be like, yeah, I like this number, but I like this song. So, and I kind of do a blend of the two, or I'll learn the exact dance and make some twists to it. But to a point, Moti always picks good music that you naturally want to move to. But to your point as well, you made a point on playing the right song. It's always playing any song for family to get up to. If they're Mafana, they'll do it. But if it's a song from their village, for instance, like when the Vavau folks, like when Si Lolo comes and, for the Vavau people, they go crazy, right? Like
Yeah.
a song from your village always kind of brings a different spirit.
Yeah. No, I agree. And one of the things that I'm hearing from both of you that I really like is how well you work together. And just, I think also the other thing is the education being put behind it. Like you mentioned, I know that both of you are staying, like, you're watching things, right? You're watching things, you're watching groups, you're not too proud to watch. And that's what's great, because we all learn from each other all over, right? And I think that's something also to add to what you guys are going to be offering for the community, is that you're taking it serious. Like, not only are you watching, but you've always been watching. So this is something that is important to know, that you guys are constantly kind of educating yourself, learning things, watching the way things evolve, and also keeping things authentic too. So and how well you work together with the music and the dancing that you can make up. So I just have another, let's see, just two more questions for you guys, and then I want to move into like a little bit more of the academy that you guys are building. But what is, or who has been, and this can be a person or a group, and yeah, whatever you guys feel, who's been the biggest influence when it comes to Tongan culture and Tongan dancing to you? Like, I know you're going to have a big influence in your life, but this is more just specifically about when it comes to like the culture or the dancing part. It looks like Ricky probably dropped, but I'm sure he'll be back on. So I guess Moki, you're up.
Okay, let's do it. I know I've been mentioning my mom a lot throughout this our chat.
Which is
But
fine.
my mom, yeah, it's my mom's. Like, she's just always. My mom's a Queen Salote College alumni, and she just said growing up they were really, they really would teach them the true Tongan way of doing stuff, whether it's Faiva or whatever it may be for Tongan cultural, Tongan culture and protocols. So she'd always share what she knew. And then I always had questions growing up, like, why did we do that? Why is that person wearing that? You know, and she always pass on that knowledge. But and I also saw it on the family stuff on her side. I don't see, you know, Tongan culture being done, you know, with everything. My dad's side too. I don't mean to take away from anyone, but
no, but we can't cover everybody, right? So
yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Like, she's been more, like, her influence has been, I give it.
And she always would say, there's going to be a day that you're going to have to refer back to this, and we won't be here. The days are now. Like, I'm always reaching back. I'm always replaying in my mind things that she said or have you know, advised me on, and so that has played a big role in how I practice Tongan culture. I'm sorry, sis.
No, you're good.
Tongan culture today.
No, I understand. So I like what you said, because I know Auntie Moala, so like, it's not just she taught you, she lived it, and she lived it with you guys. And so I think that's one of the reasons when I say who influenced you both the most, because I think I guess I really want my viewers to understand, like, these are, like, you two are people who are like living these things. like it's not just things you're like, oh, I just learned about it last week on Google. Like, you know, it's questions, like you said, questions you've asked your mom in the past for years that she's been able to answer, so that, you know, because that's when we talk about losing Tongan culture, it reminds me of, you know, there's still, even with me, there's still a lot of things where I'm like, what is that for? What is this for? How great of a blessing it is that you got to learn that, like, from birth on, and be able to incorporate that. And the other thing is just how much she's like taught you and given you, and how much you've been able to give back to the community with. So that's one of the big reasons why I felt like this question was really important, is because you guys are who you are because of people that have influenced you. And so I need to be back, Ricky. So he just finished. He said his mom was his biggest influence. Who was yours? Do you remember the question, or do you want me to repeat it?
Would you repeat that one more time, Lyza? Sorry.
Okay. I was just asking, who has been your biggest influence when it comes to the Tongan culture and dance?
Cool. Dance. Mom, she was the one that forced me to go to the Tonga National Center to learn all the dances. Culture, my dad. Very, very, very by the letter of the law, for the culture. So yeah, both of my parents, but they're big influences in doing this.
I love that. Like I was just telling Moti, it's important to know this answer because it shows who you guys are and who you're influenced by. And so I'm excited to have you guys share that. So the last question about you guys, and then we'll move in more into your academy, is what are your 3 top favorite Tongan foods? So you can only choose 3. What are your 3 top?
Ooh,
And this is for anybody that's coming to your dance school. This is for the parents to know how to kind of no, just kidding. How to kind of work the teachers a little. Come bring this food.
For the Tongan listeners to your podcast, they will know that deer jerky.
Oh, you go there. Just say it. Just say it.
I don't want your channel to be nice on YouTube.
Okay. Deer jerky.
A pig head and other.
See, if they aren't Tongan, they're gonna think you're a savage, Ricky. No, just those are really delicious. I'm getting hungry. Okay, Moti, what are your favorite 3?
Gosh, my favorite 3 like rotate every day, I want to say. But I'll go off like the most recent 3 that I had within the past few days. So Lu is my favorite. Whether it's Lu Sipi, Lu Bumasi Ma. Yeah, those stuff are.
Wait, are those your 3?
That's my whole 3 right there. Another one I just had. It's a Tongan dish called vei halo. I think am I saying it right, Ricky? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
if I'm wrong. But I had the Samoan style one. It's like a coconut, made with a young coconut. I guess if I was to use English words to describe it, it's like a young coconut soup type of dish. And it was with our winter weather that we're experiencing right now, it really hit the spot. And I was grateful to be able to partake of such a yummy Tongan dish. And then the third, I have to go with Ricky, Ota too. I can't ever turn down Ota if it's kids.
Sure. I'm not going to answer all 3 because it's too hard. Sorry, I made you go. But Ota is on my list. I will mention one that is my favorite. So yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of the academy really quick. What is your advice to parents who want their children to come, but they've never danced, they've never done any cultural dancing, and they don't know anything about the culture, but they still want to bring their kids? Like, how would you help them feel comfortable, or what would you say to help them feel comfortable to just come anyways, to just bring their kids to try it?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for even wanting to take this step and bringing your child to be a part of Siipekaehadanceacademy Dance Academy. That's what we're here for, to learn, right? To pass on the knowledge that Ricky and I will be teaching our children, and just to know, don't worry, it's going to be fun. Your child will we'll make sure to teach them everything that we know. That's our whole purpose, is passing down what we were able to learn when we were growing up to this next generation. And I'm just grateful and humbled that they're wanting to continue on learning about their culture so that they can do the same thing one day and pass it down to the upcoming generation for them. So
exactly. I think it's important for them to understand you guys know that, right? Like you're fully aware people are going to be coming that don't know it. That's the whole point of this academy, is to help teach it, right? And so I would hope that people would feel comfortable enough. And that was even the whole point of this podcast, is so that you could see like these guys are willing and ready to teach the children wherever they're at. And the point is that is just for them to just learn and grow. Like that's really all it is for them to learn and grow and be happy doing it. So I appreciate your answer for those who feel like they're not Tongan enough or they can't do it. I want them to feel comfortable to just come and try, and let your kids are really easy. They're not as scared as parents think they are. And so I think once you drop them off, they're gonna be fine. Like they're gonna actually just be okay. You're the only one stressing half of the time. So bring the kids, and I promise they'll be good. What about you, Ricky? Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I agree. I think also to completely open, I think one of the things we want to communicate to the parents is that we're very transparent. They can come and watch a practice before they commit to bringing the kids. Come to a few practices. But to your point, the kids are completely different when their parents are there and when their parents aren't there, right? we get a kid who's very confident and is not willing to fail when their parents aren't there. But sometimes it does help, when a parent there and the parent knows, sometimes it's usually the other end of the spectrum. When a kid is like too energetic or they're not focused, a parent will usually know, like, I need to be here so that he listens, right? And we welcome that. That's but awesome. To any parents that are confident in their kids like not being Tongan enough, give us a call. I'm happy to talk it over if there are any learning challenges. Moti works in the pediatric department. I have 3 boys, all under 5, so we understand that there's just different levels of learning. Sometimes people learn when it's a game, it's more fun and friendly competition. Some people like it when it's just one-on-one time, so we can accommodate and try and teach everyone to their own speeds, right? So
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's important for any viewers to know, like you said, you guys are in professions and have positions where you know how to work with children and youth and their parents. And so I think it's really good to know that they're in good hands. Okay, so this next question, you both can answer. I really like this question, so I want to kind of throw it out there. So there's other schools here in Utah, right? I mean, we're based in Utah, but there are definitely other schools that are teaching some Tongan dances. What are your guys' feelings about it? I want to give you guys the opportunity to share, because from talking to Moti before, you guys support it. You guys usually support all the schools that are happening. So why don't you just share with me what's your feelings about the other schools that are out there and your feelings about your own?
Nice. Yeah, like you said, Lyza, first off, hats off to all the founders and teachers of the existing schools that have already been running for years. And I'm just excited to see the many options out there for our children to be able to choose from. And I'm just excited that we can be able to join and offer what we have to offer to the community, that they can add that to their list of choices in furthering their education regarding our not only Polynesian dance, but we're specifically Tongan dancing. And so I really think it's great seeing the many other dance schools that we have here in Utah, and just shows the growth of our people here in this area particularly. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Awesome. And
I don't
I don't think we see this as a as a point to compete. But no, the spirit of this is more. We want to join the conversation. We want to help add on to the work that has already been done. Like Moti said, we respect and love everyone that has been carrying the torch thus far. We just want to add value where we are, where we stand, right? Like lift where we stand.
Yeah.
We have, I know that it's kind of spread out, but also just in the short time that we've made posts on that we're doing this, like some of the people in my geographical area, just the Saratoga Eagle Mountain side, is people showing interest but can't make the drive to Provo, right? So that's stuff that we're starting to consider, like how can we accommodate to the people in their own, how can we get, maybe we this semester we do Provo, and then we may look to move it a little bit further north and continue to move up from people that are interested. But yeah, we don't want to Utah is a startup central for a lot of businesses, and there might be some friendly competition, but I think we don't see, or there was no intention in this to try and outcompete, or there's no malice in it. It's more we're joining arms with everyone else.
I agree. So for anyone listening who knows my background, my kids are dancers. Like they dance a lot. And I'll tell you one thing that I've learned as a parent is my kids have danced in several dance studios. They've had several teachers, several dance studios, and there's something great to learn from every single one. And there's also something different to learn from every single one. And I feel blessed that they were able to, most of what I feel blessed for is the teachers. Like, honestly, it's the teachers and their styles. Like, not every teacher teaches the same. It may be the same dance name, but it doesn't mean they dance with the same style. And I've loved to see I've loved watching my children learn and pick up different styles. You're not meant to stay in one place forever, right? Like you're meant to grow, So it's okay. What's great is the more the merrier, right? The more of the community that we can get doing stuff like this, there is no competition. We should actually be working together and joining together. And in the dance world, that's how it is. I mean, if you have time to compete, you're not focused on the dancer. And so I mean, that's why, like you said, there's no malice, because you guys are strictly just focused on the Tongan dancing. Like that's it, them and the dancers and learning. So I thought that this would be a good question to kind of clear up, to understand, like, go wherever you want to go, and know that, like what Ricky said, there's certain areas that people can't always drive to one area just to get lessons. To me, whatever was closer at home was the easiest for me. And so I think that's exciting that you guys are offering this, and that even Moti, you reaching out to everybody. That's so cool. You don't have to, but that's so cool that you're able to do that on behalf of your school, and that shows a lot of love. So that's awesome. I know we have a few minutes left, so I'll try to run through a couple more questions. We already established that this was just strictly Tongan, right? Like this is like the dances are just going to be that. So that's good to know, right? Because if they want to learn anything else from you guys, they need to go find the other school. If they're trying to learn the hula, you guys can teach it, but you're not focused on that. So they share the love with everyone on that. This is one question I was really excited about. So I'm excited for the costumes. Okay, so from what I've heard and what I know is, like, we're not just pulling out garbage bags and cutting them up. One thing I know about Moti, because I worked with him, is he has some really good taste when it comes to what they wear, and he really goes out of his way to get like really good quality stuff. So can you just give us a little bit about what you guys are thinking for the costumes, or how you're approaching it? You don't have to tell us everything, but just to get everyone excited.
Yeah, I know one of the biggest things is costume making, and it's could be stressful for a lot, especially if it's like your very first time. I didn't want our parents to have to carry that burden. And also recently I've been working with a few costume makers from overseas, New Zealand, Tonga. And I looked at this opportunity that this could be our chance that we could support their businesses, those who make costumes, while they're supporting us, by giving making the costumes for our dance academy dancers. So that was my thought and idea with costume wise for the dance academy. Not only that it's not, they don't have to worry about making it, but they're made from the motherland, or stuff like that. And so just something else that they can take pride in, that it's this was specifically made for me by hands of people back in Tonga.
That's so I love that you're sharing that, because I feel like that's so important to me. Like even here in Utah, I'm like buy local, like I'm always trying to do that. But I love that you're looking at it as an opportunity to have them see what it really looks like from the motherland, and also to help both areas. Like it definitely will help everybody, and that you're actually willing to take the time to even try to do that. Some people would just say, no, that's too much energy to try to figure out how to bring it from the islands. But I love that that's a thought that you guys have. I know some things you'll have to probably get from here, but the other thoughts are you're trying to pull from the islands as much as you can. So that's awesome. Ricky, one thing that I know about your guys' academy that you guys have been learning, that I've been learning about, is that you guys wanted to make this affordable. And one of the important things that I really want to kind of stress to those listening who are interested in this is, again, I'm pulling from my experience as like a dance mom, is I know what you guys could charge. Like I mentioned it to Moti. I was like, you guys could charge this amount. And so I know what you guys could charge, even at a minimum cost, right? But I've learned that this is what's really important for you guys, is to try to make it as affordable as you can with the quality that you're providing, and without shortchanging yourself, but also like allowing it to be something affordable for parents. Why is that important to you guys? When I know you guys could charge higher, why are you guys trying to still bring down the costs? Obviously for the parents, but why is that important to you?
Biggest thing is I feel like personally, your cultural duties should never make you break the bank. Like it should never cause that kind of strain. And I think it may be a weakness in our culture. Sometimes we go into debt for cultural responsibilities. We want to move away from that. Maybe that's an area of the culture that we would like to improve, is to make it affordable so that the kids can love it, and parents not feel like they're pulling in two different directions, right? If we bring the kids and the kids love the dancing and they love feeling connected to the cultural heritage, and they want to pull that way, but the parents are feeling strained to pay for it consistently, then it's kind of opposing each other. So we want to lean one way and make it easier for everyone.
Yeah, that's good. Did you want to add to that, Moti, or?
I guess, I totally agree with what Ricky says. There's a little you hear there's a tongue saying "Fe'unga mo tau masiwa." Everyone's at different financial levels throughout our community, and like what Ricky said, we don't want to break the bank for families. We want them to, because there's so many that want their kids to participate, and the last thing we want is little, maybe next time. We want to respect everyone's respect everyone to be able to have that same opportunity to be a part of this. And being that we're one of the newest dance schools coming out, that they can have that freedom to join us without feeling that it's going to be a burden to their family budget. And so, we're willing to work with families and stuff like that, so they can still participate and join us. So
that's so nice of you guys. I think that's really great of you guys to try to find a number that can work. I'm still gonna push them to raise them next time. So you guys better jump on this semester because I still think they could go higher. No, but I love that you're taking in consideration the people. Like you're not just wanting to throw a dance academy up and say everybody come and just learn. You're also taking in consideration like maybe what they're going through financially and how you can lighten that burden. And so I appreciate, like I said, you guys are putting a lot of thought into this, even down to the dollar on the students. So I'm almost done. Just gonna ask 3 more questions. Do they have to have Tongan in them to come into Dance Academy? Can anybody dance there, or do they just have to have some kind of blood quantum in order to join?
No, it's open to everyone. Everyone who's curious, interested, have been wanting to dance Tongan. Yeah, everyone's welcome. So
what is your, can you guys share your days and time right now, or would you rather just share when's your registration cut off?
we can share both. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So right now we're gonna start off with 1 day a week on Friday. It'll be Fridays. We have 2 classes, one for our boys and one for our one class for our girls. Our girls' classes will be at 5 o'clock, and our boys' classes will be at 6. And if numbers continue to grow, we will go back to doing 2 days a week and split it. But right now, we're able to combine both age groups, and we have a pretty good amount for this spring semester. And
so are you still taking more, or
we are still taking more to the end of the month? So
month? Okay.
Yeah.
End of January, that's a couple days, or so is January the cutoff, the end of January?
For open enrollment, yes, with January 31st will be our last day. But like we said, we're open to working with families and those who reach out, and whatever their circumstance may be, we'll work with you. It's not just strictly, oh, sorry, you missed it. Wait for the next bus or whatever,
But classes do start next month though, right? What day do they start?
So next week, it'll be February 3rd. It'll be our first class. Friday, February 3rd will be the next.
So just for the viewers, they're hoping to cut off at January, but you could still reach out to them. You just might miss a class if you don't jump on time fast enough. But they're still open if you trinkle in the beginning of February's, right? The beginning of February.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to you guys really starting. I know that you already have the recital set. And which is awesome. Like you already have the recital set. So these guys are ready to teach the kids and with the recital. Before we end, is there anything you'd like to end with, both of you?
I just want to thank you, sis, for giving us this opportunity, and the community for all your support throughout the years. We're very excited to be working with you and your children, and just ready to have fun this semester, and grateful to a big thank you to my brother Ricky for also being here to do this journey with. I'm very excited that we're able to work together on this, and so yeah, that's it. Just want to thank you and offer to you all.
Awesome. And you,
again, like Moti said, grateful to our families for supporting us in doing this. It's definitely taking some time from our families, but they've been gracious enough to be supporting us and counsel along the way as well. But also thank you to Lyza and everyone else in the community that has been supportive. It's been awesome. We didn't realize what we were getting into. The post went up, we were on our phones, answering questions and that kind of stuff. So it shows that there was a gap that we weren't, that was not being filled. So we're happy to step in and support the community in those spaces. So
awesome. Well, thank you both for being a part of my podcast. I'm so excited for your academy. And of course, I'm going to tell everybody, bring your kids and join. You don't want to miss out on this. So make sure you get registered, reach out to both of them. Where can they get more information, Moti? How can they get a hold of you guys?
If they just want to email us at siipekaehadanceacademy@gmail.com. And we're pretty quick at responding to those who have been reaching out and inquiring more information regarding the Dance Academy. So yeah, that's our main contact right now.
Okay, and I'll drop that email in the description when I post this. So thank you again for your time. Thanks for being here with Lyza on her Real Talk podcast. And you guys have an awesome day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
You too.